Hey everyone, so just a little bit of a recap before I go. Hold on one second, I gotta see what my daughter's doing. She just really wants to be in the video, so that's probably just it. Anyways, so just a little recap of what had happened in the past before I even bring up what just happened. The first day of school, we take my daughter. We're excited. I have family members who just want to come and see my daughter off at school. First day of school. Woohoo! So, we're supposed to go over to her little line or teacher line. We're supposed to meet up with the teacher. Hey, how you doing? Whatever. So we get over to the teacher that is on the letter, clear as day. And we hand the letter over to her. And guess what she says? Your daughter is not in my class. I'm sorry, she's not on my schedule. Confused, I asked, is this your name? And she was just like, yes, but unfortunately, we had to have people switch classes. Dumbfounded, I replied, when did they switch classes? And they said, just today. Now, mind you, it's not even 8 o'clock, and they had to switch classes that day. Out of my confusion, I was just like, so we don't know who the teacher is, because when I had asked her teacher, she said, I'm sorry, I don't even know where they switched her class. They didn't give me that information. Now it's a runaround. I have to go to the front desk and wait on, but before I go to this front desk, I have to wait on this long line of people that had their class switched. It was insane. I'm waiting there for about, I'd say, a good 10 minutes before a security guard comes out. He opens his mouth and starts to speak English, but after 2 words, he goes, you know what, wait. And then he starts speaking in Spanish. And honestly, I don't know Spanish. And I know a bunch of Spanish people or Hispanic people that don't know Spanish either. So I'm sitting there listening to him, and then all of a sudden, he just starts taking people that have raised their hand because they know what he's talking about, and then he picks them out, and then he brings them in. Again, like I said, I don't know Spanish, so I didn't even know what they were raising their hand for. Now, my family is behind me. My sister-in-law, my husband, my mother-in-law, and my sister-in-law's boyfriend. And I turn around and I gave this face like, I don't even know what he's saying. And then after I gave them the face, I'm just like, what the hell did he just say? And a nice lady behind me, she was not really a lady, well, she is a lady, but she seemed more like really young. So sometimes I kind of get a little offended when somebody calls me lady because, you know, I don't look that old. Anyways, so she looked at me and she told me exactly what he said. And I was just like, oh, I have a letter and I should have held my hand up. Too bad I didn't know. Because some people had gotten the letter stating what class their child was going to be in. And some people, for some reason, didn't get that letter and had to wait outside. So as soon as he came out, I presented my letter and I said, well, I didn't know what you were saying, so I obviously couldn't raise my hand. So he was just like, okay, go. So I go in. But before I go in, I obviously have to take my daughter, take my husband. I tried to ask the security guard if I could take my sister-in-law, her boyfriend, my mother-in-law, because they're here. They were there, they want to see my daughter, off at school. But the security guard had so many things going on that he just couldn't answer me, so we just waved goodbye to them and then shoved off. So we went inside, and what had happened was that we had to go up to the principal's office, and the principal's office is on the second floor. We spoke to somebody, they gave us the information, and we were supposed to go right back outside to meet up with her teacher. So we really couldn't take our daughter to the class at that moment. We went all the way around and we went to try to find her. Unfortunately, the teacher had already went inside the building at this moment. So we were just like, okay, so now what are we going to do? We spoke to a security guard that was on the side door, one of the side doors, and he let us in. He walked us over, and we met the teacher. And, from that was pretty much it for that day. But it was insane. Me speaking about it for about a good 7 minutes, it was it was a hell of a lot longer, obviously, than 7 minutes. And it was just so confusing that it was insane. I'm just going to put it like that. And it just really made me feel uncomfortable. So I was dead set on being a PTA member. I was just so dead set on being PTA member that I actually got super excited of her first day of school. That was short-lived because the next day I went to the school and I had asked about PTA, and nobody knew what I was talking about. They had no clue on what PTA was. So within, I would say, the next week, because they started school on Thursday. The next day I went in, I asked them about PTA. They didn't know about PTA, so the next school day I went in and I spoke to them, and they were just like, unfortunately, we do not have PTA. It's a PTS. Now, don't quote me on this 100%, but from what I understand, they do not have PTA because of the fundings. The fundings that fund PTA is set for something else. I do not know for what, because what I'm about to tell you is going to be mind-blowing. I'm just going to skip ahead just a little bit and then go right back. One day I was picking up my daughter because she was sick. She peed herself because I guess the cold and her shaking and whatever, she just peed herself. She's 5 years old. So she's sitting down in the nurse's office, and when she gets up, we see not a puddle, but kind of like a wet spot. And I kind of gave my husband antibacterial wipes to wipe it down, but we needed to go change her. So the nurse brought me over to the bathroom. Now I'm trying to talk to the nurse about what is going on and why certain things are going on. And my daughter, she's asking me for help. So now I'm torn between helping her and talking to this nurse. So I said to the nurse, listen, I gotta run. Let me fix her up and then I'll come back to you. Really messed with my thought process, because as soon as I was done with her, I kind of just said, you know what, screw it. I'm not even gonna say anything anymore. But when I went into the bathroom, there was about, I don't know, maybe about 7 stalls. But almost every single stall that I went to had no toilet paper. Had no toilet paper. And I was just livid, because this is kids. Okay, kids around my daughter's age, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, some of them, they're not going to sit there and say, okay, here's a stall with toilet paper. I'm going to go in there. No. They're not going to. They're just going to pick the first stall. They're going to sit their butts down, or they're going to, they're pretty much going to sit their butts down. They're going to pee or they're going to poop. And then guess what? There's no toilet paper. None. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to pull up their pants and they're going to go. They're going to go to their class. And guess what? There's either going to be poop marks in their pants, or there's going to be pee marks in their pants. Or they're going to smell like piss and shit. Or both. Obviously both. But this is crazy, because where's the fundings going when it comes down to personal hygiene? Just personal hygiene. I'm just talking about personal hygiene right now. I apologize for my outbursts, but it just gets me a little bit upset when I think about this stuff. These are our kids. These are our futures. You know, we're treating them worse than some prisoners. So I was livid. I tried to talk to the one of the people in the office that there was no toilet paper. I spoke to the person in the nurse's office that there was no toilet paper. I also spoke to the parent liaison days after, because I couldn't get in contact with her. So that's pretty much how that went. I haven't been back to the bathroom since, and I kind of get shook every time I think maybe my daughter has to use that bathroom. So let's rewind back. So there is no PTA, and now I'm trying to figure out what is going on, because at the time, so in September, obviously, there's no events. October, I would have thought that there would have been some type of event, especially with Halloween coming around. They didn't say that the kids could even go in their Halloween costumes, which I could understand, because it's, the place I live in isn't the most ritzy area, if you could believe that. But it's not. It's just some parents are broke and some parents have a little bit of money. So some of the parents will not have Halloween costumes. That is the sad truth. So October had nothing. November has still, some of the things are coming out, but it's not Thanksgiving orientated. It's nothing quite like that. And I understand some people, they don't like Thanksgiving because of the events that happen after Thanksgiving. And I get it, but still, it is a holiday that we are still celebrating. So if we want to abolish Thanksgiving altogether, then be my guest. Don't celebrate it. I'm just hoping that they have some things for December, but I am not holding my breath for that. There was a one time where I wanted to sit into the class, and I wanted, because the thing is that I want to know what my daughter is learning. She had brought a homework home that had kind of like broken English. So I was wondering if she was being taught that, number one. Number two is, she's my only child. She's my number one. Okay. She is my first. She is my last. I don't know. But what happened was that I had asked, okay, so before I even say that, I went to a parent meeting, and they were they were pretty much talking about empowering the parents. They were power. You've got power. This is what you could do. And one of those things was sit into class. That some of the principals or some of the teachers don't know the laws. So this person knew the laws, and she was saying how she was looking up all the laws all summer, and how she would, how some of the teachers, some of the parents need to know these laws. So what I was told in that meeting was false, pretty much, because when I spoke to my parent liaison, she had turned around and said, I'm sorry, but some of those were fabricated. And I was just pissed off because you're telling these parents certain things, and those things aren't true. So what am I to think? Okay? So after I had gotten really pissed off, and after I didn't even, okay, first of all, I don't go to higher ups until I feel I need to. I try to go to the source first. I try to go to the bottom up. Okay? I spoke to the teacher. The teacher said no. I spoke to a person in the principal's office. They said no. I tried to speak to the principal, and he brushed me off, and he said no. So, before I knew that all of this stuff was fabricated, I feel like I made a fool out of myself by making something big when it really wasn't. But, and this is what gets me pissed off till today. So I get that what I was trying to accomplish wasn't fact. Okay. But the principal completely ignored me. He completely ignored me. He didn't want to speak to me. And when he decided to pass me right by, like I said, he ignored me. He didn't even want to acknowledge that I was there. So that kind of pissed me off. I'm not trying to be one of those parents that, hello, I'm the parent, but just smile, shake my hand. I am one of the parents of one of your students. Okay? I'm not trying to be rude, and I'm hoping that the next person is not trying to be rude to me. I just felt like he was being rude. So, and he'd been rude another time, but it's not, you know what, honestly, it just, I didn't have any, like, feeling of wanting him to even acknowledge me at that point anyways. So, I've been quite distant with the school after that. The only person that I haven't really been distant to would be the teacher. I spoke to the teacher. The teacher's great. The teacher is great. The only thing is that, you know, like I said, I haven't really spoken to at this point, I haven't even spoken to the parent liaison. Well, not this point, but, I think I spoke to her, like, maybe about 3 days ago, but, after, I think it was in September, in the middle of September, middle of September, I haven't spoken to her. She's a sweet person, I'm not even gonna lie, but when you get into a parent's head, or when you get into a person's head and you're like, yo, it's hard to find parents that care, you know, it's hard to, like, talk to parents about certain things. It's just hard to pretty much get them to be active. Here I am. I want to be active. Here I am. I want to be noticed. Here I am. I want to help you. So, all I want to do is make the school better for the kids. It's not even I care about the parents. I care about the kids. I don't want my child... Okay, so if my child goes to a good school and all the children are succeeding, well, let's just say most of the children are succeeding, then my child's succeeding too. Because now the school is getting better. The school is being tended to. And that's what I wanted, because I wanted to join the PTA. I wanted to do that while I was joining the PTA. I wanted to make it better. You know, I mean, I know one person isn't going to cut it, but if, let's say, one person joins and then another person sees that person joining, and then we keep going and going and going and going and going, then maybe the school will get better. Funds will go up. I mean, you don't have to have a shitty... okay, when I lived in New York, we kind of could go to any school you wanted to go to. You didn't have just the district. But school systems weren't really a problem. It was just the school. You had to look up the school. So you could have been in the richest area, okay? For example, like Park Slope. John Jay High School was there. And guess what? It was terrible. It was just terrible. But it was in the pretty good area, you know? It just depended on your school and what is going on in your school and how everybody was in your school. So, that's what I want. That's what I want for the school. But unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be making that impact. Honestly, I don't even think I can make that impact. I'm just, again, nobody is helping. No one is giving me that power. I would love to help you, but it's just, you're fighting back. The school it feels like it's fighting back. So today, okay, Now, let me just give you another little background story. I have my picture. Like, if you type in my name, you will see that my picture, clear as day, is up there. You don't even need my ID. All you need to do is just type in my name. And I was livid when the lady said, nope, can't do that. You need your ID. I was like, but just type in my name. So anyways, the reason why I had to actually go to the office, because I had to go to the principal's office. Now, I had told them in September twice in the principal's office that my husband's name is wrong. They're missing one letter in his name. And the person had said they were going to fix it. I said this one time, and then I said it the second time because they had sent in another letter that spelled his name the same exact way. So, what did I do? I went over and I asked the person if I could go to the office. I did not think when I was going to pick up my daughter that I was going to need my ID, because normally I go, I pick her up, I come back. That's it. That's all I do. That's all I need to do. The teacher sees my face, she knows me. That's all I need to do. I live about a block away, so if I really, really desperately need my ID, I could just go pick it up. No big deal. But my picture is in the system already with my name and my address. Why would you need to keep my picture in the system if you're not even going to use it? So, what happens? The lady goes and says, well, you can't go upstairs. I'm like, okay. Is the parent liaison in? Nope, she's not in. I had a letter in my hand, and she said, oh, you have a letter. Let me go inside and let me check to see if the person that you need to speak to is in. Even though I said I need to go up to the maid, even though I said I needed to go up to the principal's office, she walked in the other office. She spoke to him, or spoke to her, I don't know, because, well, no one wanted to speak to me after that. She comes out and she goes, the person said that they'll speak to you afterwards. They'll speak to you on this day. So I have to wait for that appointment to fix my husband's name after I said it twice before. And that you guys said that you would fix it both times. So now I'm getting angry. And I'm trying to speak to the security guard. I'm like, listen, I just need to fix this name. That is it. And the woman said, sorry, can't help you. Next! And now I'm standing there with my thumb in my ear. I want to say something else, whatever. So I leave and I try to get a hold of the school itself. Maybe I can complain about that situation. And guess what? Even though my picture is in the system and they could see me again clear as day, I need my ID. So now, as that I feel like I can't talk to the principal, I'm going to speak to the superintendent. And that is what I did. And I complained to her about the principal, and I complained to her about what had happened to me today. And she was livid. She was actually livid. She turned around and said she was so embarrassed and she didn't want the parents to feel the way I felt. And she apologized. So, please, parents, if you are having a problem in your school, number one, let me tell you, just speak to the principal. And if you feel like you can't speak to the principal, then go over his head. Because guess what? We need more people that are just better equipped to speak to the parents and also speak to the children. This is it. This is your child's education. This is your child's life. This isn't their child's life. This isn't their child's education. So, you should be able to be a part of that. Now, the PTA is probably not going to happen for a little bit. If it does, it may happen next year. Or maybe 2 years from now. But it's definitely not going to happen this year. But if more parents get involved, if more parents talk to the superintendent, if more parents want their voices to be heard, you need to contact these people. Because this, again, is your child, not their child. So please, I'm begging you for your child's education, for your child's school. This school that my daughter is in, I can't get her out of this school because I can't move right now. But as parents, we could make it so that the school isn't a 2 anymore. We need to speak up. So, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to comment them in the comments section. I know that some people will see this maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years later. But it doesn't change the fact that your voice still needs to be heard. So, regardless of how long or how old this video is, do yourself a favor and get involved. Because you're the only one that can for your child. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to know more about the things that I talk about, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.